Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled, your shortcut to being well-informed. This is episode 5, and today we're diving deep, really deep, into the ideas of Fariduddin Abu Hamid Muhammad Attar Nishapuri.
He's often called an ocean of profound thought, which is, well, quite an image, isn't it?
It really is, and our mission today is sort of navigate some of his more radical things about unity, perception, reality, even our own inner world. It's going to be fascinating.
Absolutely. And what's really exciting is that our insights, they're drawn from these rich conversations with Iranian philosophers, specifically Dr. Ibrahim Dinani and Dr. Ismail Manzouri Larijani from a program called Marifat.
Yeah, they offer such a unique perspective on Attar.
They really do.
Now, just before we really get into it, a quick heads up for you listening. This deep dive is a translation and reproduction of those original conversations.
Right.
So, some concepts or maybe nuances, they might not come across perfectly. We do apologize in advance if anything feels slightly off, but we're really trying our best to capture the core essence.
Definitely. And the focus today is really unpacking Attar's quite revolutionary ideas. We'll look at unity, how we perceive reality, maybe beyond just the surface level, and the role our inner faculties play in all of this.
And it's not just like academic theory, is it?
Not at all. It genuinely challenges what you think you know about, well, seeing, knowing, even yourself.
Okay, let's dive in then. A lot of you have asked about Attar's concept of unity, Tawhid. It really does flip things around.
It does. Attar has this line. It's amazing. It just throws you right into the paradox. In the world, nothing but your manifestation is apparent. In 1,000 hidden layers, only you are the identity.
Whoa. That's a heavy one. What's the core idea there? How does this unity where manifestation is the hiddenness, how does that change things?
Well, the really radical takeaway is this. Attar is saying reality, the ultimate truth, is so overwhelmingly unified, so intensely singular, that its very presence, its sheer intensity, actually becomes its hiddenness.
Okay, hang on. Its presence becomes its hiddenness.
Yeah, think of it like staring directly at the sun.
Right, you can't really see it.
Exactly. The brightness is just overwhelming. It blinds you to the details, doesn't it? It's not that the sun isn't there or isn't manifesting. It's too manifest. Its intensity hides its full reality from our, normal way of seeing.
Ah, okay. So it's not like there's some separate veil covering reality.
Well,
It's more like the veil is reality, but just seen superficially. The manifestation itself contains the hiddenness. Is that it?
you've got it. That's the key insight.
Yeah.
And cultivating this deeper way of seeing, that's what Attar calls tammul.
Tammul.
Yeah, deep contemplation. But it's not just like thinking hard.
Yeah.
It's more about opening the inner eye to reality. When you contemplate deeply, you sort of create distance from the surface appearances.
And that allows your inner vision, maybe your intuition, to see the truth underneath it all.
Precisely. It's about seeing through things, not
Yeah.
just at them.
Okay. Seeing through. That brings us to another pretty radical idea from Attar. He says that what we see with our senses is just imagination, Kyle.
Yeah, that one definitely raises eyebrows at first.
It sounds a bit like the ancient sophists, doesn't it? Like saying reality is all just in our heads. Is Attar actually denying reality?
Yeah, that's a really important distinction. No, he's not denying reality like the sophists might have. They kind of made reality subjective, maybe even unknowable.
Right.
But Attar's argument is different. He says sense perception alone, without that inner sight we were talking about, operates in the realm of imagination, khayal.
Oh.
But, and this is crucial, that imagination contains a manifestation of truth, of haq, ultimate reality.
Okay, so the world isn't just imaginary. It's more that our default way of seeing it, if we don't have that deeper perception, is limited to its imaginary aspect. It's about the lens we're using.
Exactly. The mystic Jamie had a great line on this. All the world is imagination, yet in it, a truth is constantly manifesting.
I like that.
Yeah, it's about seeing the divine light that's actually shining through the sensory world.
Yeah.
Something our ordinary surface level looking it misses it. If you took that divine light away, then the world would be, as Attar says, imagination within imagination, just meaningless images.
And when Attar talks about seeing, he doesn't just mean physical eyes, does he? There's a deeper kind of seeing.
Absolutely. The real seer isn't the physical eye itself, the muscle and nerves. It's you inside, your consciousness. The eye is just an instrument.
Uh-huh.
And this inner you, it has different levels of sight. I mean, think about seeing in dreams. Your physical eyes are shut tight, right?
Yeah.
But you still see. It's the same you seeing, just different realms, different kinds of perception. And the deeper you go inside yourself, the more these inner sights can potentially open up.
So imagination, this khayal, it's not just about picturing things we've already seen, it has its own creative power.
Oh, definitely. Think about art, like a Picasso painting or a really vivid poem. They create realities that don't physically exist, but they feel incredibly real, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Rumi even suggested that imagination can sometimes grasp things intellect really struggles with, like the concept of pure nothingness.
Yeah.
So it's a genuine way of knowing, not just, making stuff up.
Right. So if our ordinary perception is limited, how do we clear up this inner vision? Attar brings up the sigh, the ah. How can something so small, almost involuntary, have such power?
Yeah, the sigh. For Attar, it signifies absolute sincerity. It's pure, it's unfiltered, it comes right from your deepest core with no pretense. It arises from profound longing or pain, what they call dard.
Dard? Okay.
And Attar makes this incredible claim about its power. He says, if hell join me, one sigh of mine will burn 7 hells.
Wow, burn 7 hells? That sounds intense. He can't mean literal hellfire, surely.
No, not literal fire. In this context, hell means our inner fire. Our own failings, our vices, the negative stuff we create inside ourselves.
Like envy, arrogance, greed.
Exactly. Those things create a kind of personal hell within us, right?
Yeah.
They keep us trapped, spiritually blind. And because that sigh comes from such a place of raw, intense sincerity, it has this immense purifying power.
Ah, I see.
It just burns away that inner negativity. It incinerates those inner hells. It's like hitting a spiritual reset button.
That's actually incredibly powerful. The as a reset. It makes me think of those moments of just complete overwhelm or exasperation, and that deep sigh just comes out.
Yeah.
How does this idea of purity, of sincerity, connect with what Attar calls the fault-finding eye, the ayabin?
Well, that raw, sincere expression of the sigh is kind of the polar opposite of the fault-finding eye. If you truly perceive everything as a manifestation of, truth flowing from absolute beauty, then ultimately there isn't really any fault or ugliness to find, objectively speaking. Fault-finding happens when we see things as separate from the divine source, as just fragmented bits and pieces. Attar suggests that the ugliness we perceive often originates within us, in our own fragmented way of seeing. We're sort of projecting our inner disunity onto the world.
And he sums this up with that line, right? To see your face, one needs the eye of the soul, the chashmidan.
Exactly. Contrasting it with the merely world-seeing eye, the jahanbin.
So the Jahan, the soul's eye, sees more than just the surface. It sees the essence, the divine shining through.
Precisely. It sees the soul of the world. It's really captivating how he weaves these mystical insights with such sharp philosophical points. Which makes me wonder, how does Attar view intellect, Eichel? He can't be totally against intellect, can he, given how philosophical he is?
No, not at all. He's not against intellect itself. What he critiques is what you might call partial intellect, or maybe mercenary intellect.
Mercenary intellect.
Yeah, thinking that's just driven by ego or chasing worldly stuff like money and status or making superficial calculations just for personal gain. But true, pure intellect, that goes hand in hand with spiritual insight. It supports it, even enables it. It's kind of the bedrock for a responsible spiritual life.
Okay, so what does he call that true intellect? How would we recognize it?
He calls it aqwa tarifi, roughly responsible intellect. This is the intellect that's inherently committed, morally accountable. It's the source of our ethics. It knows right from wrong. And more subtly, it can discern between, say, bad and worse in really tricky situations. It's like our inner moral compass, driven by a sense of obligation, not just by what we can get out of it.
That's a really helpful distinction.
Yeah.
So what's the opposite then? The kind of intellect he warns us about?
That would be akle moralak, which means suspended intellect.
Suspended, like hanging.
Exactly. This is intellect that gets tied up or chained to lower desires, money, status, power. Or it gets chained to rigid ideologies, political stances, things like that. It loses its freedom to discern clearly because it's caught up in attachments. Ego, dogma, echo chambers online.
Oh, yeah, you see that all the time. From, politicians making choices just to get reelected to someone stuck in their social media bubble who just cannot see another perspective. Their intellect is literally suspended, right?
Yeah.
By ego or ideology.
That's exactly it. It makes a perfect sense when you put it that way. And this responsible intellect, it connects back to mantic logic, which we've touched on before. Is that just about formal reasoning?
Attar sees mantic as much deeper than just formal logic or even language structure. It's considered universal, innate, the very structure of our intellect that gives humans responsibility.
Right.
Unlike animals acting purely on instinct.
Right.
Imam Sidq had a great quote about this. Intellect is that by which the merciful is worshipped and by which paradise is attained. This intellect, this equal, is what unlocks the world of meaning for us. It lets us grasp these profound spiritual ideas, reason ethically, and pursue the truth about unity and reality.
Okay, so moving even deeper inside now, Attar makes this really, really important distinction between the heart, the dil, and the soul, the gen. They sound kind of similar in English, maybe, but you're saying they're fundamentally different in his view.
Oh, fundamentally different. And grasping this difference is like a major turning point on the spiritual path, according to Attar. He describes the dil, the heart, as being defined by constant change, constant movement.
Like its Arabic root meaning to turn or revolve.
Exactly. Think of the surface of water always shifting with emotions, external events, passing thoughts, desires, fears. It's turbulent, easily influenced by everything around it.
Okay, so that's the heart, the dil. What about the soul, the jan?
Jan, in contrast, is stable. It's fixed in truth. It's already connected to the divine essence. It's like the deep, calm current running beneath all those surface waves of the heart.
Ah, okay. So a massive part of the spiritual journey is basically moving from the heart's constant turbulence, its ups and downs that get pulled around by worldly stuff and moods, moving from that to the stillness and the unwavering truth of the soul, which is anchored in the divine.
Precisely. That's where the journey in God, the Therify Allah, really begins. And Attar stresses this part isn't just about human effort, grinding it out. It requires divine permission, divine grace.
It's not just pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
Not at all. It involves yielding, aligning your personal will with the divine will. Your actions become less about me and mine and more about embodying a larger purpose. It's not about losing yourself, but finding your true, eternal self within that divine flow.
And who guides you on that journey?
Well, Attar suggests the ultimate guide is that inner reality itself, the spiritual essence, which he connects to the Walaya Prophet Muhammad, not just the historical figure, but referring to this profound spiritual state, this continuous channel for grace and guidance.
Okay, this talk of guidance brings us to another really significant point. Attar was known for, well, struggling against what he called amiyan, common people's often superficial beliefs, and maybe, more pointedly, the Madianir fan, the claimants of gnosis, the false mystics.
Yeah, he was quite outspoken about that. He even talks about the ill repute, badnami, of love.
Ill repute.
Yeah, he says it comes from the common people misunderstanding it, mistaking deep spiritual love for just, ordinary desire or infatuation. But for the true lover, Attar says this bad reputation isn't actually a flaw. It's almost a sign of their perfection.
How so?
Rumi, who obviously learned so much from Attar, put it like this: this injustice of the common people to you in the world, if you know, is a hidden treasure, because it forces you away from seeking validation from the crowd and pushes you to turn solely towards God.
That's interesting. And this ties into why these false mystics pop up.
Exactly. Gnosis, true spiritual knowledge, is inherently internal, but tiny. It doesn't have outward, easily measurable signs like, say, medicine or engineering. You can't just run a public test on a mystic's inner state.
Right, there's no exam for enlightenment.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And this lack of external metrics creates an opening for charlatans, people who claim insight they don't possess. You see this maybe even more today with modern fatigue and the very real human yearning for something spiritual. True mystics have always been rare, so sometimes unqualified people step in, maybe confusing mysticism with energy healing or, just performance. Attar was warning against precisely this.
He uses stories to illustrate this, right? Like that really powerful one in the Conference of the Birds about Sheikh San'an. This guy was supposed to be a perfect master beyond compare.
Yes, absolutely top tier, and yet he falls deeply, passionately in love with a Christian girl.
Which seems like a massive fall from grace.
But Attar frames it differently. He presents it as a divine test, an imtihani ilahi. It wasn't meant to condemn the sheikh, but actually to elevate him to an even higher level of perfection. It demonstrates the immense power, but also the 100 dangers, as Attar puts it, of the path of love.
Okay, so the test is the key. What was being tested?
His sincerity, sidq. That was the crucial element. Sheikh San'an was utterly sincere in his love. Now, most of his disciples, hundreds of them apparently, they saw the outward actions consorting with a non-Muslim, abandoning religious practices, and they abandoned him. They thought he had lost it.
And not all of them.
No, 2 remained loyal, because they recognized his underlying sincerity, his kadame sikh, his step of truth, despite the confusing appearances.
And the outcome is amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Ultimately, the Christian girl is so moved by the sheikh's unwavering sincerity that she abandons her faith and becomes a Gnostic herself. And the Sheikh, his spiritual status doesn't decrease, it actually increases through this ordeal.
Wow. So the story isn't really about a master making a mistake in the ordinary sense.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating that unwavering sincerity, that Qadami sidq, which Attar insists is the absolute indispensable first step for anyone on the Gnostic path. The whole thing was like an intricate divine play, a manifestation, and Sheikh San'an's sincerity allowed him to navigate it and emerge with even greater spiritual stature.
It shows that true gnosis isn't rigid or absolutist, maybe. It can be found in unexpected places. Like Hafiz said, everywhere is the abode of love, whether it be a mosque or a church.
Precisely. True Gnostics, unlike the charlatans, are founded on that bedrock of sincerity. Appearances can be deceiving, but sincerity, that inner truth, is what matters.
This idea of sincere masters, true lineage almost, brings us perfectly to Attar's own legacy, particularly his connection to Rumi.
Ah yes, that famous encounter. Apparently, Attar met Rumi when Rumi was just a young boy, maybe 8 years old. Rumi was traveling with his father, Baha'u'ddin Walad, who was also a great scholar, and they passed through Nishapur where Attar lived.
And Attar did something quite remarkable, didn't he?
He did. He gifted his own book, the Asrarnama, the Book of Secrets, not to Rumi's famous father, but directly to the young boy Rumi.
Just gave it to the kid.
Yeah. And apparently he made this incredible prophecy about Rumi. He said, "Soon from the warm breath of this child, the world will be warmed."
The world will be warmed. That's quite something. And looking back,
It proved profoundly true, didn't it? Centuries later, Rumi's poetry, especially the Masnavi, is read and cherished all over the globe, even widely popular in places like the United States today. It feels like Attar's warm breath really did act as the fuel for Rumi's incredible fire, his vast insights.
it really speaks to that unity you mentioned earlier, like to that saying.
The souls of wolves and dogs are separate, but the souls of lions are united.
Yeah, that one. They're all like branches of the same tree of monotheism, aren't they? Rooted in the same truth.
Beautifully put. Attar and Rumi, different branches maybe, but drawing from the same deep wellspring.
Wow, what an incredibly rich path Attar lays out. We've certainly covered a lot of ground today, gone into some really deep concepts.
We really have. We looked at his pretty radical view on unity, the divine being hidden by its own sheer intensity.
Right, the too bright to see idea.
Exactly. And how our senses primarily give us imagination, khayal, but there's a deeper sight needed to perceive the divine light shining through that imagination.
And that purifying power of the sincere sigh, the burning away our inner negativity, our inner hells, clearing the path for real vision.
And we dug into that crucial difference between responsible intellect, ake tarifi, the moral compass, versus the suspended kind, the intellect that gets chained to ego or ideology.
And finally, that really key distinction between the constantly shifting heart, the dil, and the stable, truth-anchored soul, the jan. It really feels like Attar's work is an ocean, like they say. You could just keep exploring.
Endlessly inviting deeper exploration, yeah. And as we think about this whole journey he describes, especially that shift from the heart's turbulence to the soul's stillness.
Well, here's a final thought for you to take away and maybe ponder. Since so much of this path seems to be about shifting from that restless heart to the quiet stillness of the soul, what small, maybe consistent inner practice could you try? Maybe just for today. Something to help anchor yourself even just a little bit in that deeper, unwavering part of yourself, your Jan.
Something to mull over, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Attar's amazing wisdom.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Keep exploring, keep asking those big questions, and definitely keep looking within. We'll pick up the journey again soon on Wisdom Unveiled.